we will move on. This is slightly different direction. Professional codes of conduct in civil law state that a doctor may be held liable for negligence and essentially any procedure or treatment. Does the current law as written do justice to this standard? Will recourse for a patient's family be available if a doctor prescribes legal drugs and the family feels that a misdiagnosis or misassessment has been made? Dr. Grisolia, would you like to start?
Well, I think that you clearly are looking at a different standard here. I think some of the other panelists would be more intelligent about this than me, but I'm just going to say quickly that the California Medical Association was able to get some very significant protections written into this bill, and those are good from the standpoint of the doctor, but you do make a situation where a number of things could go wrong. Somebody that's a real advocate for physician hastened death might be, writing prescriptions inappropriately. I think there are a lot of different things that could happen. We've already talked about the importance of getting the family involved whenever possible in these end-of-life decisions. And so you could imagine in a situation where the family wasn't involved, that people would come back and be very upset and hurt by a decision that a patient made without consulting and getting them on board. There's the unusual protections that were written into this bill were done specifically to get it passed. The advocates for this bill were willing to do an awful lot. I think that there are some inconsistencies there. I'd be interested in what other panels say.
Yeah, so I do a fair amount of consulting for lawyers and like expert testimony and whatnot. And this is America, y'all. You can get sued for anything. All right, as a doctor, you can get sued for anything. So there's protections under the law. That doesn't mean that an angry family member can't come after you. But I believe that the way it's written is sufficient. That other than having to go through some trauma and get your malpractice care involved, I don't think anything would ever come with it. But again, I think it's better to have everybody on board, because you get the crazy daughter from Poughkeepsie coming in and saying, oh, my dad didn't have cancer or whatever. She can sue you, but she can find a lawyer to do it. So.
One quick addition, if it's a family member and not the patient that's suing you, you aren't necessarily covered under your malpractice. I've seen situations where other family members sued a physician and wasn't covered under their malpractice. It's extremely stressful to get sued when you think that you are personally and your estate is personally on the line. So that is a potential risk under this bill.
Yeah, elder abuse also.
Yeah.
Right? If it's recklessness, malice, oppression, or fraud, if they bring that into it, then your malpractice insurance may not cover it. Anyway, medical students, don't listen to anything. Go about your business.
I would comment, I think that's unlikely, but an interesting question. I think a more interesting question is, what about patients or families who experience inadequate relief of suffering and improper care in their life, or they're dealing with severe symptoms? I feel very comfortable in saying that if you don't take good care of your patients and relieve their suffering, that's malpractice, and that people ought to be held liable for inadequate care. We have a responsibility as we engage in the care of people in these situations to take proper care of them.
And there's some big awards out there that relate to exactly that.
Physicians have gone to prison for inadequate treatment of pain. Only one physician has gone to prison for deliberately malpracticing, deliberately killing a patient. And I know that you know who that is. Dr. Morgan. And they talk about a dozen jury trials before they find him. This is an overstated fear. And I'm not a lawyer. I see a few lawyers in the audience. I can say I'm not a lawyer, just like politicians can say I have done stuff. But the history is more than Mitchell says. If you're doing a bad job of treating a patient, you'll get sued, you'll get in trouble. Not if you do it a patient.